Welcome back to Ultra Chill. For our final show of Season 3, we have our esteemed execs, Nicolas and David, onto the show to talk shop. As we're about to hit one of the biggest milestones in Ultra's history, we thought we should cover Ultra's strategy, game tokenization details, and how things are expected to unfold during the second half of 2023. So let's get to it. Welcome back to the show, Nicolas and David.
Hey, Remy.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Remy.
Always a pleasure to have you guys on to talk about the great things that Ultra has been doing. We're really excited this time because, as you well know, Ultra is about to expand its retail footprint in a big way. In some sense, this is what we've been waiting for many years. How do you guys each feel about the current position that Ultra is in?
Yeah, the position of Ultra, I think, is extremely good in terms of timing as well. So there's lots of growth in the space right now. We can see a lot more investments, as you know, coming to Web3. We can see a lot of Web2 developers starting to unveil their cards, stating, okay, this is actually something we are doing. Lots of the largest players are also doing some Web3 content. So in terms of timing, we arrive at a pretty good moment. A lot of the fundamental work as well has been done throughout the years. So right now we are arriving in the moment where we can directly release a lot of different products. So Ultra Games, the Ultra Arena, we're going to speak about it very soon. The Chrome extension, the NFT standard, and all different kind of functionalities, which are really like core to Ultra. So I think in terms of what's going to be available, it's really going from a place where we built for a very long time, and now we start to release the products, and also we'll be able to release the tooling for building on the products. So that's really switching from a concept of highly tech development companies to a hybrid tech and business company.
Yeah, I don't really think that everybody really understands what we've been building over the last couple of years. David, do you think all of the work that we've put in kind of improves our position compared to others that are in the market that for, some of them really haven't been building for that long?
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of like one thing that makes Ultra really unique is that we basically built the entire vertical. Typically companies will build one slice, okay, I do the wallet, I do the NFT standard and so on. But we build it all. So we are uniquely positioned to now be able to move fast, make modifications where we want, when we want, based on reasons that, we decide. And so I think in terms of position in that perspective, we're super happy. And we can see it like on a daily basis, like somebody's, a developer or, like a partner or even our own internal needs. We sometimes need to make a change on the protocol, sometimes on the NFT standard, on the wallet, on the Chrome extension. And it's really a daily base thing. So we can I think for us, it's hard to imagine, what the other developers, must be facing because they always need to sort of like circumvent issues. And when you typically do that, you have an impact on the user experience because you're basically gonna, ask the developer to jump through hoops, or you're going to ask the users to jump through hoops. So it's a very great position to be in, and I think all these years have culminated in the moment that we're on today, where you can see everything popping at the same time, like Ultra Games, Ultra Arena, the Chrome extension, the NFT standard, and soon, a set of APIs. And they sort of like all will happen in a span of, 4 months, something like this. And so I think it's quite amazing what we've built to, arrive at the point we're here. And this will, give us a substantial advantage, on the market. And more importantly, this will provide real value to content creators and to users as a result.
It really feels like we're standing on the edge of a cliff right before we jump off into the water. And I guess like really what I wanted to start off today's show with was kind of a discussion rooted in Ultra strategy. Like why do we want to jump into the water? it defines kind of the path that we walk together, and really the reasons that we build for, you know, both our developers and our user communities. So maybe in a few words, could you tell us what Ultra's strategy really is? Like, where are we going?
The big aspect of Ultra is obviously its ecosystem. So the fact it's all integrated for the users, but also the fact that it can be expanded. And that's very key for us at Ultra, is that all the technology that has been built is to allow this kind of possibilities, to have this expandability, meaning that today's ecosystem is at a certain, you know, size in terms of application, in terms of users, in terms of content. But this basically can increase very quickly, because you always have, you know, content providers, which are game developers, NFT creators, or app developers. You have the users, which are like players or general users. And then you have the people promoting all this content. So this is really a trifecta, which is very important for us. But one doesn't work without the other. So for example, we need to have quality content to attract a lot of players. So that's, for example, what we would be doing with some exclusive games, working with very big studios, or having really good synergies between our different applications to create unique value proposition that bring players. If you have a lot of players, then you're very attractive for the content providers. So people who build games, people who build apps. And then the influencers have to have their interest. So they're going to promote all this content to everybody. And that's really what we at Ultra believe in, is that we need to have incentivization. We need to incentivize all those different actors. So this way we have really great ecosystem that can balloon.
On top of this, like what Nicolas mentioned, is really like these three different, you know, areas of focus, you know, gamers, game developers, influencers. And what makes us, you know, unique also in many aspects is that we developed a lot of functionalities for influencers. So the incentivization that Nicolas was referring to are built in the protocol, are built in the NFT standard, are built in, you know, the various dApps and the various mechanisms that we integrate, including, you know, gated communities, including gated tournaments and such, are going to be great tools for them to monetize and to basically contribute to the network and contribute to promoting content that game developers come for. So this is sort of like the beautiful synergy between all three you know, pillars of the ecosystem.
So we're launching Ultra Games on April 25th, and I think that for many of you that are watching this in the future, that this has already come and gone. It means that we'll be allowing users to buy first-hand games from our library of partner content, but we aren't yet allowing users to resell them on the unique marketplace. So let's talk about that. Why are we staggering the releases of these two sets of functionalities?
Game tokenization has a series of prerequisites before we can do that. And one of them, and the main one, is NFT V1. And so NFT V1 is sort of like the final version of our NFT standard. So currently on the mainnet, internally we call it NFT V0. And so since we're going to launch Ultra Games, we decided that NFT V1 would be launched after Ultra Games, because launching both at the same time would mean that if there are issues at both at the same time, you know, there might be delays and all kinds of, you know, issues that we don't want to deal with. So we will launch Ultra Games. If there's an issue, the entire team can be available for fixing it. And then right after, we will launch NFT V1. If there's an issue, the entire team will be available for fixing that as well. And so it's purely a matter of, you know, doing things the right way that we decided to do that. And then the second thing is for tokenization. As soon as NFT V1 is done, then we can complete a part of functionalities that are necessary for tokenizing the game, which rely on NFT V1. Now, a big part of NFT V1 is completed. I think actually, I believe it's code complete. in many aspects, and then but it needs to go on the test net, and so that we can implement, do the tests, and so on, and then launch on the mainnet and make it available.
So, Nicolas, without really committing to a date, because I know that that's something that we're very careful about not doing, let's talk a little bit about when we can expect the first tokenized games. There's kind of like a path of functionality that we need to finalize, as David was saying. And then there's the process internally, of verification. Can you talk a little bit about, how that works and when we're kind of aiming for the first tokenized games to go live?
Sure. I think before answering on timing, it's important to grasp the concept of tokenized game and tradable game, which are two different things. Basically, the fact the game is tokenized, it means that if you own this NFT, you will see your game in your library, you'll be able to download it. But also, somebody could say, oh, you own this new cool game, you will receive an extra soundtrack, or you will get an access to a community. So that's the tokenization aspect. Now, tradable means that this tokenized game has parameters that allows you to trade it, to resell it to somebody else. Those are two different parts of the concept, which are distinct, but works in conjunction. So in terms of tokenized and tradable, initially everything will be tradable. Every tokenized game will be tradable. That's why we don't tokenize everything, because some of the game developers don't want today that their game would be tradable, because they simply don't want to participate in the secondary market, but some want to participate. So there is a difference. So we have to tokenize first only what is tradable. So we did that, and that's a really good way for us to do a test as well. So we see, okay, we do it with one, all going well. A few days after, we can do with all the ones that are needed. And that would be June, July, so like 2 months, 2 to 3 months top, I would say, from the time that we release Ultra Games. Then if everything goes well, it will be released, so June, July. From there, we then open to non-tradable games, so which means we're going to tokenize paid games, but that are not tradable yet. That might change in the future. But the other aspect is the free-to-play games. Because free-to-play games, you might think, okay, it doesn't make sense to tokenize it. But yes, actually, because you can have then all the benefits tied to the fact that you own the game. So, this wallet owns the game. You're going to get special access, special grants, special items in the game that are provided to those players. And then the third step is basically the migration of the legacy games. So all the new users would already have tokenized game when they buy the game, but some of our existing users would still have the previous game that they purchased. So we're going to migrate those games to the tokenized version. So it doesn't change anything in terms of user experience, but it's all like a lot of internal work that we do. So we make sure that there is no breakup between the current experience of the users and then the new experience of the users, that everything is smooth.
So will all games be tokenized? I mean, like what we're talking about is kind of like a migration pattern, and maybe users should be, we should be more clear for users how that's actually going to work.
So all games will be tokenized, but it's going to happen at in a staged event. Like for example, some games might have geofencing, and geofencing, because some game developer maybe have a deal that certain market are exclusive to another game developer or publisher or something like that, and therefore they want to limit their game in a set list of countries. And so for this functionality, which is an advanced functionality which we support, we also need a upgrade on the NFT standard, which is coming, which is the support for geofencing, on chain. And so these games, until we have this functionality, will be non-tokenized. And as soon as we have it, boom, they will be tokenized. They will show up in your inventory. And in the meantime, again, you will see the game in your library, just like on Steam, and everything will be completely transparent and seamless for users.
I think that there's still a lot to do in 2023, post GA and of course post tokenization. Maybe you guys can give us kind of like the broad strokes of what Ultra is aiming to accomplish for the second half of the year.
Yes. So on the tech perspective, there's a lot of functionality on the NFT standard which will be introduced. I just mentioned geofencing. That's one. And again, you can think about this functionality as in a games perspective, but the NFT standard can be used in many, many other ways. And so if you want to organize a tournament that is limited to the, German region because of, you want to have, really fast servers and so on. Well, now you can create a NFT that is limited to the German, market, country, and then you can create a tournament that has a gated tournament that links to that. So that's one functionality that will have lots of other things. Then use cases. Then there's another really important functionality that we will be working on is the unique dispenser. So today you have a unique factory that produces uniques, with a set functionality and a set of parameters, like can it be traded, is there a minimum fee, and so on. So this factory produces these uniques with all the same parameters. Today it's impossible to purchase the unique directly from that factory. And so we will add a new functionality that once the factory is set up, you can turn on a unique dispenser. And the unique dispenser will allow the creator of the factory to decide, okay, this factory will produce uniques for the price of this many US, for example, or they will be able to set it in dollars and you will be able to pay with US. And then when you send these uniques to this factory, the factory produces the uniques and send it to you directly. And so this is great for many, many different use cases, including, as soon as the factory is done, you can set up a promoter fee. And then everywhere, in different marketplaces, different apps, different games, they can start selling this product and they can earn a commission as the promoter of this product. So this is going to be, again, one great functionality for for influencers. And then there's a lot of stuff that, we're working on the tech adoption side of things, like a better documentation, incoming APIs that will allow you to know users' inventory, that will allow you to fetch, metadata conveniently from NFTs and so on. So, which will facilitate the development of games, but also facilitate the development of dApps. And so a lot of things around, tech adoption, making it simple, super straightforward for developers to use our technology is going to be developed and will be, provided to the larger community. There's a bunch of things that will be, open sourced also in the coming months that people will get access to, and that we hope, can contribute to improving and, providing to the broader ecosystem new functionalities and so on.
Nicolas, from the maybe business perspective, can you kind of like talk about what our goals are for the second half of the year?
Yeah, definitely. I think with the launch of products, we can make much more business. It's much more exciting in a sense, business-wise, because we can actually start leveraging our solutions. One of the first, I think, very simple is like we started now working with ambassadors, like really making trials and see what works well, what doesn't work, based on our product, based on our audience. But that's something we are doing currently, and we will be able basically to scale that to many more. The idea is to be able to have a community which is growing and really understand well what we are building, so they can talk about it outside of the inner circle. Also leverage solutions like promoter systems, so everybody can really benefit from promoting content in and outside of Ultra. So that's really, if you have a great product, if you have a great game, if you have a great item you want to sell, an NFT or whatnot, all of that will be able to be leveraged by people who want to speak about those and earn from it. So that's really a way for us to grow the ecosystem in terms of users. David mentioned the expansion of the Ultra technology and documentation to third parties. So this is for basically increasing the user base, but the content at the same time. So the goal is to provide all the keys to everyone to leverage Ultra. So people can build on Ultra, which means better quality content would obviously bring more users. So that's very important. And also it will bring a lot of synergies with the existing ecosystem. As you saw, Ultra Arena, for example, it's good synergies with like the game store, with the marketplace or others. But you can imagine how many applications can be built that would be benefiting the ecosystem and benefit from it. So that's really a great way for us to expand our ecosystem and the adoption. In terms of content, so obviously we're gonna have more and more content on the game side, so more quality games, Web 2 games, Web 3 games that started integrating our technology, but also the release of exclusive games. So that's going to be, I think, very exciting for this year. We'll be able to see already exclusive games on the platform that really benefit from the whole ecosystem, the whole pipe of technology that we developed to really create this sort of full scope solution for the game launch as well. So game distribution, but also airdrop of uniques which are tied to the game, promoting to influencers, through influencers, so promoting through influencers the content, organizing tournaments around these new games, helping growing the community, doing gated access to communities with NFTs. So really, the sort of full spectrum. I think that's going to be very exciting to see. And that's really after that a really good case study in the sense that from there you can pitch that to any of the largest companies in the world and be like, hey, this is what we've been able to achieve. And I think the value proposition, we already discussed it with all of them, and it's very appealing. So now we can prove it. That's going to be like a very critical step business-wise.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming onto the show. We'll see you guys all next season.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.